Hey everybody, this is Tracy Wagner with Bangert Inc. And today we're going to look at how to add a notation column to a financial report. So I've already got a report going. I'm going to go to financial reports. I've got this profit and loss with notes. So first I'm just going to run it and kind of show you what I'm doing here. First thing you'll notice is I don't have any filters, and there's a reason for that. I'll explain that here in a minute. So we're just running it. Okay, so as you can see, this is a P&L. I've got my January 2022 actual column. I've got a budget column. I've got the variance column. And then I've added this notes column with a few notes as to why there's such a big variance. Rob got a new cell phone. We bought a new printer. There was a snowstorm. And so you can add a notes column really anywhere you want in this report. So what we're going to do is I've got a February actuals, budget, and variance, and now I want to add a February notes column. So we're going to go and edit this report. Now, when I go to the columns, the reason that there's no filter options or prompts is because I'm basically hard coding all of my dates in the columns here. So for instance, the second column, I've hard coded it to be month ended January 2022. The reason for this is because it's not going to make much sense to create a notes column if these dates keep changing. So I want these to be static so my notes make sense. So, okay, so you can see here that we've got that January notes column, and then here's our February actual, budget, variance, and I want to add a notes column right next to this variance. So the first thing that we need to do is create a note to add. I'm going to add another note. You can see my January note here. We're going to add a note to the right. We're going to call this Feb 2022 notes. And then I'm just going to put in some bogus notes here. Note here. You can really add a note anywhere you want on this column. We'll say, I don't even know. I can't remember what the actual variance was, but we'll just say increased cost of plan. Okay, so one thing to make note of is, well, first we will come over to the columns. Let's add that note into the columns real quick. So we're going to go over here to February, right next to the budget variance is where I want to put this. So I'm going to add a column to the right. And that's right here. And so now, instead of actual, we need to scroll all the way down and we're going to click on notation. So this is our notes column. And then it's asking you what notation do you want to use. We're going to use the February 2022. And then we'll just say February 2022 notes is what we'll call it. So we can preview this right here. See what that looks like. Okay, so there's my note there, an increased cost of plan right there. So it's kind of helpful to have notes, especially if you're presenting this to executives and you want to remember what the heck was going on month to month. One thing I will share is when you are in the notes and you are adding a note, please be aware that this note will only appear on your report if you have the totals showing for that row. So you can see revenue sales here. If we go to the format section and rows and totals, revenue sales, my totals are not hidden. If I were to hide that total and preview the report, you notice that those notes go away. So for whatever reason, Sage is printing that note on the total row. So you have to show your totals. So we'll get that back. Refresh. Okay, and there it is. So that is one little tricky thing. So if you have all your totals hidden, which a lot of people do, you're going to have to unhide those to be able to show those notes. But basically, It's pretty easy to add notes. Check out any of our other videos for financial report help. Thanks.